say meet people, I'm not saying that every day you walk out of your apartment or your home and you say, who am I going to meet today, right? But it's a good mindset to have in your mind, because you might not be going to an event, but maybe you're going to be going to your office, and maybe you have a regional meeting, or maybe you're now going to be meeting with some of your donors for some of us, correct? For the nonprofit world, or maybe you're going to be meeting with some of your volunteers, or maybe you're going to be meeting whoever it is. Just feel, how do I get to meet new people every day, or just be open to that. Does anybody in here work in an organization where there are more than, say, 20 people in the organization on your floor or different floors? Okay, some of us. The reason I mentioned about the larger organizations is very often, if I'm in a company, I'll say, how many times do you get to know the people on the other side of the room, or in another cubicle, or another area? And people don't do that. Have you ever seen that before? So some of the places you go to, the safe environments, so I'd say you can reach out there. Or how many of us have our favorite Starbucks that we go to? Or, or Dunkin' Donuts or whatever. We go to a coffee shop or a place or something, and we sometimes see the same people all the time. We ever strike up a conversation with those people? Right, because sometimes you learn that this person knows that one or whatever. It's just being open. So I just say, and take this, whatever you want to use it, meet people just at least every week. Be open to that prospect or the opportunity that you might be meeting somebody new. All right, to learn something from them. Be curious. You can learn something from every single person. It's key. This is really the most important, is nurturing the current networks and the relationships you already have. Now, I always say there's different ways to nurture the relationship. And we all have time management issues. True? We never have enough time, where everybody's running and going. And today we have different vehicles to stay in touch with people. True? So even if we would love to have a face-to-face meeting, but we know that it's sometimes impossible to have a face-to-face meeting. So what are other vehicles to stay in touch with people? What's one? Email is one, of course. What's another one? Telephone, actually speaking on the phone. Last night when I asked this question at Baruch, it was the 4th, and people were struggling. I said, remember a phone? We talk on them sometimes, right? Exactly.
But they don't.
That's absolutely right. What's the 3rd? Text, isn't it true? Text. Anything else you can think of? Social networking, absolutely. And anything else?
Facebook.
And Facebook, like LinkedIn. But the idea is, think about people that you know in your life. And the reason I always say, ask people their preferred method of communication. So say you wanted to get together with somebody, and you wanted to have a face-to-face meeting, or you wanted to have something. We usually reach out to them to set it up. True? Okay, so if I was going to do that with all of you in this room, let's use the 3 first. Email, text, or telephone. What would be your preferred method, knowing that we use all of them? Preferred method to set up that meeting. Just yell it out.
Email.
Okay, I heard a lot of email. Was there any phone? Okay, some phone. Any text? No text. Okay, interesting. Fine. But that is what I call, I've now learned your preferred method. So what I do in my database is next to somebody's name and all their information, I would put P or T or E, something like that. So I know that when I want to reach out and nurture and touch base. There's a client that I have who, it's amazing, never listens, never reads his email. I don't know how he stays in business, okay? Always never reads it from me. But I know that if I send him a text like that, I get a response back. Okay? I have another client, friend, she's very open about this. She says, I don't listen to voicemail. So she knows if you call her, she'll call you right back. And she does. And it's amazing. You just learn. You learn people's idiosyncrasies. Isn't that also true? But sometimes it's think about people that you reach out to. Sometimes you email them, they don't email back. You call them, they call you back, or they text back. I'm just saying that's a little bit, my point is nurture. So when you find out what somebody's preferred method is, it's sometimes a question I might say to somebody, in order for us to stay in touch, tell me what your preferred method is. And people say, I use them all or whatever. We all use them all, but your preferred method, right? And that's why I said early on, my preferred method is because I'm on the road so much and on the go, is to email me, because I can answer it right away and I can get back to somebody. So find opportunities to nurture. I like to do 3 of those things a day to different people. So I send out 3 extra emails. That means to somebody I want to email to touch base with, somebody I know is a texting person, there was something I saw in the news or I want to read about, I send a text, or I make a phone call, right? On the other hand, another thing I do, and I think what we were talking about earlier, Judy mentioned, people under 35, you said maybe have never received a note. How many of us, right, written note, how many of us still write handwritten personal notes with stamps on them? You know, the kind that you get at Hallmark, right, or American Greetings, right? It's amazing. So we have a few hands that go up. It's funny, I've been talking about this for a lot of years, since I was in the direct marketing business, and it's amazing how infrequently we do that. Is there any, and people say, well, I'll just send an email. You know, emails get erased. Isn't that true? Which is, you still want to send them and make a phone call and text. It's still reaching out. There's something about the power of that note when somebody says, thank you for thinking of me. Thank you for my interview. Thank you for taking, Andre, you mentioned also about like imposing on somebody's time. And I always say, anytime I meet with somebody, I always write a note. Thanks for your time and consideration. Thanks for having a discussion with me. Something short, sweet, and to the point. It's not War and Peace. Very short. And something easy and quick. I mean, there's a zillion cards out there. There's all kinds of notes you can do, but just something little. I always carry them with me. I have always in my bag, and I always have the stamp on them already. You can buy forever stamps now. When they were, I used to say, when the price of stamps kept going up, I say it's now your 49-cent investment plan, because you're investing in that relationship. So I do 3 a day. At the end of the week, it's 15. At the end of the year, it's over 700 notes. Now, you might think the poor woman has nothing to do all day, but write notes. They're short, sweet, and to the point. Yesterday, I was with 5 people. I have to write the notes. You know, today I'll be with different people. Got to write the notes. You just make it. If you do 1 a day, like a vitamin, you'll still be ahead of 99% of the people out there. All I'm saying to you is make it work for you. One size doesn't fit all. And I don't want people to walk out of here and say, oh my God, this is exhausting and overwhelming. No, make it work for you, right? If you do one of those things, just nurture your relationships.